Hi everyone, this is Men's here. I'm on the 9.0 test server and just showing off a little bit of the Tortoises HD model. I'm gonna just do a little quick roundabout here. As you see, it has a lot more detail, a lot of little scuffs and scrapes, and overall, it's definitely a huge upgrade to it. And it didn't really change appearance-wise, like for the armor, but the armor sections and angles might have changed a little bit since when they updated to HD they do add more armor groups. As you see, the barrels are see-through, however this piece right here is not. I don't know if they'll fix that eventually, but it's kind of odd that you can't see through it. Now, one thing that I have mentioned in my other videos for the 9.0 test, sitting here in the garage, they fixed a bug per se a few patches ago where your GPU would be at or near 100% since not much is happening in the garage, but with this update mine is sitting right around 98%, and that's with a GTX 680 on mostly high settings and some reduced a little bit as far as post-processing goes. So that is something to keep in mind, since some people like to idle in the garage and take a little break. That little bug is back, but once I hit battle and hop in, dropped right down to 1% to 10%, and in battle it's actually right around 50% most of the time on these settings. So while you're playing it in the game, it's 50%, 60% at the highest for me, but sitting in the garage, it's at 98%, so hopefully they fix that before it comes out as a live patch. But anyway, Tortoise, as you see here, new model, looks a lot better, and track-wise, the tracks do hug the terrain a bit better, and although the Tortoise doesn't really move fast, so you can't notice it that much, it is a improvement. And all tanks get that, not only the HD ones. Now I'm gonna sit over in the north here, only because I don't feel like running all the way over there. But as you see, highway hasn't gotten any huge changes, and a lot of people are just going to the southern town like they usually do from this side. Now, aside from the tanks changing, the terrain has gotten a little bit updated, along with the green hue for the sniper scope still there from the first test. But overall, the graphics for the maps have been bumped up a little bit, so you'll definitely notice a change there. Now, on highway, my FPS, as you see, got right up near 60, which is where I was for the live server. But with this test number 2, I have been hitting the 20s and 30s in some maps, especially like a reworked map like Serene Coast. So hopefully they fix that problem. It's really inconsistent map to map. Usually I'd sit right around low 40s at the worst and near 50s and 60s, but I have been hitting those low 20s and 30s on some maps more often. Now, Tortoise is pretty slow, so I'm finally getting near the battle here. I think I'm kind of safe since our tanks back here haven't really been getting shot at, so more likely than not, there's not too many tanks over near the enemy base, but I'm still just gonna hang back a little bit since that's what the Tortoise is good at, and take a few little long-range shots.
We damaged them.
Let's see if I can't get one more hit on him. He just popped out of my view range, but hopefully that was me that hit him. I want to move up just so I can see these guys. Looks like the 62A can see them, but I don't want to get in their view range. I just want to hang back just far enough to where I can shoot at them. which does not seem like I can see him yet. There we go. That's just far enough, even though he popped out of my range again. But the Tortoise, you definitely don't want to get too close to people, only because your armor is not as reliable as you might think it is. I'm going to switch over to APCR here, just see if I can get some lucky shots on these guys.
We dinged them.
And he had to turn at the last second. Yeah, it looks like he's keep doing that. I'll wait for him to turn one more time, hopefully.
We dinged them.
That's one downside of the Tortoise is you're so slow that you can't really get anywhere quickly to help your shot chances improve. But that's the last time I'm shooting there. I'm just gonna start chugging along up here. Now our town is kind of suffering, so we do have to hurry up. I'm not gonna head back to the base, only because I am very slow and closer to the enemy cap. So I'm just gonna keep chugging along. Hopefully they come back towards us and there's a little bit more fighting to be had. And this is one of the downsides, it's actually waiting to get to the fight in this thing. Unless if people come to you, it's gonna be a little of a pain driving around this thing, especially on a map like this. If your team's doing great, which I'm glad my team's doing great, but at the same time, it doesn't really make it very interesting to play the Tortoise. But at least the tank looks a lot better now. Which, the first test server, I did note that the tanks looked a bit too clean. While your tank's tracks and everything like that don't get dirty as the match progresses, it did seem like they kind of dirtied the tanks up a bit and they look a little bit more realistic and not like they just came out of a factory. Now, I'm not going to cap only because this is the test server. If we lose, we lose, but I'd rather have a little bit more fun and play around. Although, looking back, since I wasn't planning on capping anyway, I thought they would have came further north, the enemies. I probably could have just cut across the middle of the map and saved myself a little bit of time. As you kind of hear in the background, you can hear a few shots hitting like buildings in the ground. The shots do kind of echo a little bit more than they have, and you can kind of hear them further off even if you're not around the fighting.
Critical hit.
Hopefully we can get this guy out pretty quickly.
Got him.
Just seems like that guy is in hiding mode. But I'm just gonna chug along and keep poking holes in him, hopefully.
We're going to scratch them.
One good thing about the Tortoise is you can do a lot of damage, and your DPM is freaking insane for tier 9. Overall, not the most interesting game, but at least we won in the end. It was getting a little bit close. Now, let's see. Okay, so damage-wise, 2300, not too great. Didn't really do anything else, but overall, Tortoise definitely looks a lot better, and while we'll see if the armor changes a bit, this is definitely your main weak spot still, since that loader's there, and hopefully, since the Tortoise looks a little bit better, it'll make it a little bit funner to drive, but it's still called the Tortoise for a reason. But anyway, thanks for watching my video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out my website, wotguru.com.